Okay, this will give an idea of sort of the setup here, at least some of it. Obviously none of these figures have been painted, some have been primed, a couple of them. But as you see, down here is the reptile coming up out of the cellar, and like I said, this will be closed off so it'll look like she's coming out of a hole. We see Dr. Frankenstein and the bride, Pretorius there, and the monster coming in the door, which I also made out of balsa wood. Here you see the Phantom and Christine. Here, this detail, I'll have some wrought iron sticking up and a few things hanging, his violin and a couple things hanging in there. Some water down here in this styrofoam, which will be ground and stone and so forth. Over here, of course, you see the mirror where you'll see the Edison Frankenstein. I have to paint the inside of that black. I did an experiment, speaking of the Edison Frankenstein. I made a booth for him and tested it, put the mirror on the front, put some lights, and I found out that the lights were nearly not enough, so I know I have to put quite a bit of light when it comes to LEDs, especially pointing on him at strategic points. So that's going to take some doing, I think. Then you see here, this machine is not finished, but needs to be painted and some things added and lights and stuff. But as you see, I used some insulators, some ceramic ones I got on eBay. I made this other bit right here, scratch built that. The machine itself is a plastic electrical box. Over here will be another machine, a smaller one, taller one. Obviously there are bars on the windows and the Wolfman will be looking in. Here you see the table that I also made out of balsa wood and some dowels for legs. I also made this laboratory table. There's more pieces to it. There's a base and stand and everything. I actually made it fairly close. And now what's going to happen is, as you see, there's not really room for a table there. So what I'm going to have to do is, the golem has smashed in through the wall, as you see the golem back there. Okay? And I got to flatten, crush, and bend this table all up with the monster stepping on it, stepping over to get at the bride. Speaking of machines, there's more. A machine against the back wall. This one, this paint, don't pay any attention to it. It's going to be painted much differently than this. But as you see, I did add a little weathering and rusting. It's been in the lab for a while. Okay. There's a lot of ways I used to do that. And there's pieces for this machine that get added on here. I have this little bit which has switches and things, which is a bent up piece which goes there, as you see. Then another piece that I made out of styrene, which I have to sand and paint, which goes there with a meter gauge on it. There's a handle here that moves this way and that the doctor uses to control the lowering and raising of the diffuser rings. And of course this machine is all smashed up, as you see. The back of the machine is this piece of metal that I bent up and painted, which I will attach. And this machine goes behind here. The golem's entrance has smashed it up against the wooden beam. This other one back here, which you can't see that well in this light, unfortunately, is another machine I made out of casting a yogurt cup in resin, the inside of the yogurt cup. I wrapped solder around it. I put a cast iron plumbing attachment on the top. I made the electrode out of an acrylic ball, which I still have to paint with much better paint than this. And even the base is made out of doorstops, those springy ones. So they look like kind of weird insulated legs. This piece I made out of plumbing escutcheons and another acrylic ball. Obviously it's only partially painted. It's going to be hanging above this other piece, as you see. So the two electrodes, too bad I can't get lightning to go in between them. That would look pretty cool, huh? Other pieces I've made and experimented with. I made this spool which will go at the top here, which the rope will wrap around, attaches to a piece of metal here. The other wheel, this pulley wheel, which I've weathered a bit but needs more work, will go here and attach to the rope down here on this wheel. I made this piece of hanging machinery out of, it's been weathered quite a bit because I want it to look like it's been just left up on the roof. Because if you remember the story, they come back to the laboratory to make the bride, so I'm going to assume everything was just left there. And this was made out of a crazy glue dispenser. And I was going to put an electrode on here, but I think I changed my mind and it will be hanging somewhere from up here. Okay. Up top here, we have Quasimodo, who's the Fritz of the story, in my case. These two electro machines will be pushed aside as the Abbott and Costello Wolfman, excuse me, pushes them aside, as you see here, right? He's going to attach in there, right? And he'll be going out here after the Dracula bat. I know, crazy place. This machine back here is the roof machine. And as you see, I actually have some LED lighting in it. And I spent a lot of time weathering this thing. You can't tell as much, and some of the switches and dials and gauges are not attached yet. And there's going to be wires running out of it down to the other stuff, and there'll be cables everywhere and crazy stuff. Yes, I know, I know. Then as we come to the other side, past the Phantom, we see the mummy exhibit. There's the Lon Chaney mummy looking over at Frankenstein, Karloff, Frankenstein, and Fritz, which will be positioned a bit differently than that. They're just holding each other up right now. And the Ardith Bay mummy will be coming down the stairs pointing at the Lon Chaney mummy, kind of bossing him around. Okay. And over here will be the Quasimodo Lon Chaney on his wheel, chained down with whip marks. Fritz will have his whip, so he's working on Quasimodo and Karloff Frankenstein. This Chaney mummy's looking, he shouldn't be looking quite that much around the corner at those guys. Then, over here, on top, we have one of my favorite ones. Standing on top is Kong with his fist raised, about to smash down on this strut, whatever you want to call it. So bad things are about to happen in this place. Kong's here, and things are not going to go well. And by the way, here's Kong's head. Hold on a second. I don't know if it'll stay on. But there's Kong's head. And he'll be standing up there. Because when it comes to classic monsters, I thought Kong really should be included. And like I said, there's a lot more to do on this. Wish I had more time. There's more machinery I'm still making. I'm really getting into making different machines and what I can use to make them. This will be a hanging device made up of a lot of these. These are actually wooden wheels I got at a craft store. I coated them with gesso and then some Bondo, and then painted them. Here's one that's almost finished. You see the difference in the finish. It looks almost ceramic, where this one doesn't quite so much, right? And they'll be hanging, a bunch of them like this, and they'll go down to smaller pieces, hanging somewhere over here. So I still got a lot to do in the lab. Obviously nothing's primed even yet. Still a lot of carving of balsa foam to do.